Welcome to Climate Quickies, bite-sized nuggets of climate goodness from our TEDxLondon experts in under 5 minutes.
Happy Earth Day week! Whilst out at the TED 2025 Global Conference in Vancouver, we asked our upcoming Climate Curious podcast speakers for their words of climate resilience. On what keeps their climate action tanks topped up, let's hear from our speakers now, starting with AI sustainability expert Vijay Karia on what motivates him to do his best work.
I love surrounding myself with people who wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to do the hard things. And in the evening, I'm going to do the impossible things. Like, I just really believe that who you surround yourself with and the energy that you surround yourself with is so important. And it's important to protect your own energy, because if you don't, you won't have the strength to do the good work. And really, it's an army of people like myself and others who are going to have to band together to do the good work, to change the future for a more positive direction.
Now we move to Kelsey Leonard, water scientist and policy expert, with her thoughts on regeneration and gratitude.
So I go back to the grandmothers, the water walkers, the water protectors I've worked with, and they just say, go out and be on this planet. It's such a beautiful gift to just be able to breathe. And so being able to be out in nature, to, touch feet into dirt and touch your hand into water and just be thankful. In our nations and communities, we really practice an ethic of gratitude. And I think in a hopeless world, gratitude is a really great place to start. And I also think about some of my work now is at the intersection of water and fire, and with some of the immense amount of fire that we've seen over our planet this past year and the past few years, I think about the regenerative capacity of fire. And in a world where it feels like scorched earth, it's important to recognize that it's okay to be still and to wait for regeneration.
Next, we turn to Jacquelyn Francis, Executive Director of the Global Warming Mitigation Project, on why we must not give up on creating a better world.
Because I see all the solutions every single day, and they're really inspiring. And I feel like there's also a business case for it. I feel like the political winds will shift back at some point soon, and then I think people will understand that we have to do this. It's not a matter of let's give up and wave the white flag. It's a matter of rolling up our sleeves and being yeah, it is a world where we will be thriving.
Next up is Tasso Azevedo, a Brazilian scientist working on forests and sustainability, on thinking big to get things done.
So you have to keep moving. And if you keep moving, your body is getting warm, you're getting more and more results going now, and then you will survive. So I think that's where we are right now. We have to multiply ourselves and our efforts and shift the way we are thinking. Well, first, it's not an option to not act, so just act. But the thing is, thinking exponentially. The problems are growing exponentially. We can't just have solutions that are scaling up. I think it's not ambitious enough. We have always to be thinking, how can we scale up solutions exponentially so you can go to the other side? And I think there is so many things that are showing results everywhere. That is just a question of making this the news, making this the movement, so you can get more young people, instead of being devastated and within their phones thinking that nothing can be done, that actually get excited that fixing the world can be something incredible.
We've now got Theresa Fyffe, Executive Director for the Great Barrier Reef Foundation, on the importance of working together for change.
Because I'm not working alone, that's the end of the day, bringing 350 scientists and engineers together. A lot of the scientists in particular been doing this work for a long time. They see the reefs that they love dying, but they've all come together and committed, and they're smart people, to solve this problem. So you go, well, how can we not make progress? And we're realistic. We won't have reefs in the same way we have, but if we can just keep them sustained long enough to stabilize climate, we can have something beautiful at the end. But when you see the minds around this and the number of people you hang on to hope so much because you see it every day in their little breakthroughs, their big breakthroughs, their triumphs. That's enough to keep us all going.
And finally, we have Bruce Bekkar, a doctor and climate advocate.
There was a poll done by a nonprofit that I work with called Eco America. They did a poll right after the election about people's level of concern about climate change, and it actually went up, mostly among independents and Republicans. And what that says to me and other people that I've spoken to is that there's an opportunity there, because I think even people that voted what I consider to be the wrong way on so many levels get that we have a problem and we need to address it. And there also has been consistently polling results over the last few years showing that people's concern has gradually been ratcheting up. So I think people get it, and that gives me hope. The other part of it is that what we're asking people to do is really not that difficult. It's not much of a sacrifice. Frankly, I think it's okay for us to sacrifice because what we're facing is so dire and important for this generation and those to come. So I think this makes people's lives better to be engaged. I don't feel bad about asking doctors or really anybody to engage in this work because I think it does make people feel better to be engaged in solutions. I think that's where joy is.
Thanks for listening to this quickie.
This episode was created by our superstar podcast team at TEDxLondon. Until next time,
Stay curious.